Hey, what's up, my ninjas? Shinobi here with another Reaper of Souls Diablo 3 video for you guys. Been having a lot of fun testing tons of things in Reaper of Souls. It's a very exciting, very fun game, something brand new. I've been playing Diablo 3 for a long time, and I'm excited to look at new features in the game, new mechanics, new buffs, new nerfs, bugs even. I found quite a few bugs so far, and I will come in a bug video that I will do pretty soon. But a lot of things are subject to change, so keep in mind when you're watching these videos for Reaper of Souls in beta that everything is subject to change. You know, something could be completely different tomorrow, but I will keep you updated in annotations or things like that. If things are changes are made, I will actually tell you in an annotation, so that way you don't think, oh, it's still the same or something like that. I have been messing around with the Demon Hunter quite a lot. They did a wipe on all the characters in the beta, so everybody had to start over. I've been playing this Demon Hunter for a few days now since that wipe, and since I've been invited. I've been doing pretty well, progressing pretty well, getting my damage up pretty high. My toughness is looking pretty good too. Now you're noticing I only have one legendary, and that happens to be the Witching Hour, which is the, I haven't been able to get a replacement for this. I really don't want to drop 50% critical damage. And finding legendaries right now has been nerfed quite a bit too. You guys saw in the friends and family thing, there was a lot of legendaries being dropped everywhere, and the nerfs have been coming out like crazy. Maybe just for testing purposes, maybe that's not how it will be when it goes live, but when you find a legendary, it does feel legendary, whether the item's good or bad. So in most cases it's usually pretty good. So let's get into what I want to talk about in this video, after that quick little update there for you. And I wanted to make a full, complete Demon Hunter changes and nerfs and buffs video, but I feel like with things changing so constantly, I want to wait a little bit longer before I do that. I want it to be something that would be relevant in the next coming weeks here. But in this video, I want to talk about some changes that were made, a couple of changes that were made to the Demon Hunter that I feel like really need to be talked about, and some things that I'm excited for and some things that are a little crazy. So let's get into it right now. So you guys know about a month or two ago, something like that, right before Friends and Family Beta started, I made a video talking about the class changes we'd like to see for the Demon Hunter, and I talked about the Companion. Now, the Companion has been something that has been lacking in Diablo 3 because the Companion has a health bar, and they usually, if you're playing on a high difficulty like MP10, the Companion will get pretty owned pretty quickly, making it almost useless unless you're using like the bat or something, which is, just runs around and doesn't die or anything like that. But things like, the wolf, the boar, things like that, they would die all the time, and that was a problem, because then you wouldn't get the full extent from those buffs that you wanted. But they did make some changes here, and I'm going to go over what those changes are. So first off, you have just the regular Companion, just the regular bat Companion here, and I will have some visuals for you so you can see some comparisons from the Companions as well. And you can see that the Raven Companion here has a cooldown of 30 seconds, which is something that's cool. We have an activate ability and a passive ability. So it's not the same as it was before, where it just had like one ability and that's what you're stuck with, Now it has passive ability, something that it does all the time, just passively, and then every 30 seconds you can activate to do something special. So in the situation here, you have the regular Companion without a rune, the Raven would deal 1,000% weapon damage, and you'll see some of those numbers and what that looks like on the screen, given the gear that I had at the time when I did that. Not too excited about this pet or Companion, but because some of the other ones are drastically better. So let's get to the next one here, which is the Spider. Now the Spider has an activate. The activate ability on that is your Spider throws a web at all enemies within 25 yards, slowing them by 80% for 5 seconds. Now, when I look at something like this, I feel like it's a little underpowered. You may think, well, that's a nice AoE slow, but the problem with this is, like, I would just use Caltraps instead. I mean, that's something you can use all the time instead of waiting 30 seconds for something like this. When the passive, it only does 140% weapon damage. It's not very special at all. And the spider's attacks slow the enemy. So the spider is a little lacking, maybe using some situational things, you know, with legendaries that drop in the future. Maybe there'll be some kind of slowing spec or something, but I don't know any of that stuff as of yet. Let's get to the next one, which is the Bat Pet, which got a nerf and a buff, which is really weird. You never really see anything that gets nerfs and buffs. You know, maybe that happened because they were trying to balance the Bat Companion. A lot of people have been using the Bat Companion on things like the Rapid Fire spec, because Rapid Fire spec is very heavy on getting your hatred regen as much as possible so that you can cast Rapid Fire as long as possible. And it's a spec that I've enjoyed for a while now, but as you can see, the activated ability on here is a 30-second cooldown. Keep in mind, instantly gain 50 hatred. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's just under half of your hatred bar, and that enables you to do quite a lot of things. For instance, here I'm using Elemental Arrow with Frost Arrow. I've been testing out Frost Arrow. I've been testing out a bunch of different skills, and you know, 50. That's 5 Elemental Arrows. That's not bad. And then also you have the passive, which does 60% weapon damage. Not too much of a fan of that, but I mean, the bat really didn't do very much to begin with, so that's understandable. And then the bat grants 1 hatred per second instead of, I believe it was 3 in the Diablo 3 live game that we know now. I feel like hatred regeneration right now in the game is very much lacking. It's difficult to get your hatred up, it feels like. I mean, it feels like you have much more hatred in Diablo 3. You run into a pack in MP10, you can use all your hatred and then, you know, bola shot like crazy and get your hatred back up really quickly. But in this game, it feels like it's lacking quite a bit because of the limited hatred regen. So I don't know if I'm 100% happy with them nerfing the hatred regen there, but yeah, that's just my thought about that. Let's skip the boar pet and let's go to the ferret, and then we'll talk about the wolf as well too. So with the ferret pet, it instantly picks up all health globes and gold within 60 yards, which I think is, you know, pretty decent. You know, that could save you. I mean, 60 yards is a long distance. That could definitely save you. And, you know, now, do I think that's, you know, it gives justice to the ferret pet? Do I think that that's, you know, a really good thing? Do I think it's, you know, something that, you know, I can see players using? Because typically players don't really use the ferret pet in live Diablo 3. Is this going to make them use the ferret pet? It may be certain specs that revolve around health globes. I could see this happening, but a 30-second cooldown to do that just seems, you know, kind of limited and not really, you know, that amazing. However, it is a buff because this isn't something the ferret pet had before. So regardless, it's a buff and it made it better, but is it good enough? That's the question. So now let's get into, by far, the 2 most overpowered ones here. So first off, let's talk about the Boar Companion. Now the Boar Companion, oh, and there's the clan thing. This is one of the bugs that's been happening with the clans. Now the Boar Companion, the activate ability is it charges to you and then taunts all enemies within 20 yards for 5 seconds. I like this. This is something the Boar Companion should have had all along. It's something that, you know, takes the focus away from the Demon Hunter and puts the focus on the boar and lets you get some range so you can sit back and shoot and destroy things, and I think that's really great. And then you have the passive, which he does 120% damage, no big deal. And then obviously the ability like he had before, but obviously part of it was buffed a little bit because of the health gain that we've received in Reaper of Souls. The boar increases life regeneration by 4,100 life per second and increases your resistances to all damage types by 15%. But I will talk about what's going on with the boar pet and the wolf pet in just a second, because there's an additional thing with that. The Wolf Companion. Now, I love the Wolf Companion. I thank you, Blizzard, for putting this in the game. Your Wolf Companion on activate howls, granting your allies within 60 yards. That has a big range. 30% increased damage for 10 seconds. That's huge. Couple that with Mark for Death, which is 20%. Demon Hunter is a lot better in group play now. I mean, 50% increased damage? That's pretty awesome. And obviously it does 150% weapon damage, which is actually not too bad. That's a decent amount. I mean, that's a bola shot, you know, and it really depends on the attack speed. One thing I did notice with the ferret that I forgot to mention is that the ferrets seem to attack really quickly. Now, there are 2 of them, so obviously they would attack twice the speed. I don't know if it's exactly twice the speed of something like the wolf pet, but the ferrets, they attack really quickly, and you think there's 2 of them, and they're each doing 100% weapon damage. I mean, that's 200% weapon damage. I mean, the ferrets, as you saw in the demonstration there, they do a decent amount of damage, which is pretty good, but the wolf pet is awesome. Now I'm going to talk about the 2 downsides to the companions. I talked about a lot of the good stuff, but let's talk about the downsides to the companions. For one, this one is something that may be important to you, maybe not. Blizzard, as they did, add a lot of cool visual features to Reaper of Souls, changing a lot of things, making things darker, making things more epic looking, just adding a lot of work into the artistic side of Reaper of Souls. They forgot to maybe give new skins to the pets, to the companions. They are the exact same looking as they were in the previous game. I mean, there's a lot of, you know, characters that are the exact same looking, but I think that if you're going to really want people to use the companions, you know, you did buff them, which was great, but why not, you know, make a big wolf or something, like a big, like, demon, like, ghosty wolf or something like that. That would be cool, kind of, you know, that'd be pretty sweet, like a spirit wolf or something. And then also, like, the boar, as you can see here, I'll show you. There's the boar right there. I mean, it's small. I like the blue thing that comes around it, but it could be bigger and, you know, just more aggressive looking, maybe with red eyes or something like that. Just something that, you know, really just shows that, like, yes, it is. Because when you make these companions so small and minuscule, you know, because you don't want them to take away, you know, your character. You don't want them to be bigger than your character and, you know, just take over the show. But you do want to have it, you know, play a part. Now you think about it like, okay, there's 500 monsters in there and your boar's in there somewhere. You don't know where he is. You don't know if he's close to you, if he's fighting one in the middle of the pack or the back of the pack or something like that. So in that situation, it's really hard to determine where the companion is. But let's get to the biggest situation with the boar and the wolf companions. Alright, so as you're watching on the screen there, I do show you some footage of the boar and the wolf pet in action and showing you what's going on here. And you'll notice with the clip that I'm showing you what is standing out here. Now in this clip with the boar, you're seeing that we're fighting of the skeleton king called the Crusader King. So what happens here with this fight is he pretty much has most of the same abilities as he does as the Skeleton King, does his little swipe thing and everything, but the boar is maintaining complete aggro the entire fight. I mean, you're just sitting back and not dying. You can shoot him over and over and over again, and you know, sometimes he will move and do his animation, but I mean, if the boar is the closest thing to him when you're in a single target situation, I've seen this happen countless times on here. Every time it's a single target situation, whether it's a Nephilim Rift boss. I've fought Rift bosses that have 500 million health plus, and the boar is just tanking them like a boss the entire time. And that goes for the wolf too. The wolf does the exact same thing, and because they don't have there's not really a health bar gauge like there was in Diablo 3, so you can't really gauge how much health it has left. Does it live forever? All you see, it says absorb, absorb, absorb all the time. It's really hard to understand what exactly is happening there in that situation. You know, all the buffs and nerfs and everything like that happen with the companions. Do I overall like everything that's going on with the companions? I think, yeah, it was really great that they're trying to put them back into the game and make it something that's more fun and engaging for the hunter. And I especially like how the boar will, you know, take attention away from you and let you get back and kite things around and blow things up. And the wolf, the damage on that was just amazing. I love that group play damage. I use it single play too. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's amazing. What should you do, though, about the fact that it seems like the boar and the wolf can just tank a single target no matter what it is the entire fight? Maybe give us the health bar back for the boar, you know, make it so that it's killable. You know, the situation that comes up to mind when I think of that is, you guys remember in the beginning of Diablo 3 where you guys could use Tyrael, and you know, you would die next to an elite pack and Tyrael would just sit there and kill it the entire time for you. It's kind of the same thing. It's a little different, but it's very similar. So those are some of my thoughts, guys. Remember, everything is subject to change on the Reaper of Souls beta. I'm having a lot of fun testing all this stuff. I have actually right now about 8 to 10 video clips of pretty game-breaking bugs already that I found out in the first day and a half here on Reaper of Souls. And so I'm going to be rolling that stuff out for you guys. I'm going to be showing you a lot of exclusive stuff. Let me know in the comments what you think about the companions, and also let me know what you'd like to see in Reaper of Souls. What's the most important to you? Are you a big barbarian fan? Are you a big demon hunter fan or wizard fan? Or you just want to see the monster mechanics or the features of the game? There's so much stuff coming out, guys. Check videos daily on the channel here. I'm going to be rolling them out like crazy. So if you see in your inbox that I put 2-3 videos out in one day, that's because there's a lot of information here, and I want to test all of it so we can make this game as great as the potential that we know that it has. But so far, I'm liking the game, and I know you guys will too. So hopefully you guys will get into that as soon as possible. Anyways, my name is Shinobi, and until next time, thanks for watching.